Hey everyone, it's been a while since I put any content out, but it's about to come thick and fast. It's been an amazing 6 months cruising around the planet, meeting the big names in crypto. A lot of good interviews coming. Today we are going to have a chat with Venzen Khaosan. Venzen, somebody I've known for a while now. He's a highly respected and very successful trader. This chat's pretty much off the cuff. It's leading up to a show, more formal show, analysing price. Today's really about introducing you to him, to myself, what's coming up, and we're obviously going to have a chat about the price action that's been happening, and there's a lot of it. Venzen's made some huge calls. He called 13k right back at 3,000. He's right. So let's go meet this guy. Hello everyone, and welcome to the behind the scenes, the making of Venzen, where the two of us are launching a show in about 2 weeks' time. The content is going to range from meeting the top personalities, projects within the crypto space. Obviously, we're going to be talking about the price action and covering the news. It'll be a weekly show. So Venzen, maybe if you tell us a bit about yourself and your background, and then I'll do the same.
Hey there, yeah. Hi, Sean. Nice to see you again.
Where are you coming from today, by the way? What part of the world are you in?
By the way, I'm in the south of Thailand. I'm in a province called Pattani, and it's on the Malaysian border, and it's really hot. It's on the east coast of Pacific Ocean, and hot, and both politically and weather-wise. A little bit about myself. I'm a self-made trader. I come from a background of education and open source, especially Linux training. I did Linux training for the Linux Professional Institute in 2000s, and I then worked for various projects as a Linux system administrator, and that experience brought me into trading because some of my colleagues were playing around with Forex and gold, and after hours we'd try and figure out why is the market moving, what can we do, is there an algorithm that we can use to predict it. So we're all IT guys trying to find these things. We kind of made a small project amongst ourselves to try and game the market, as you do as a novice trader. You get into that. I then sat down seriously with markets and charts just after the financial crisis. And for some years I was trading and learning. And it eventually ended with a self-imposed sort of, not sabbatical, but I became a market hermit for the past 7 years. I isolated myself in Thailand and said to myself, I'm going to sit in this bamboo hut until I understand the market, until I can trade it profitably, and until I can master my emotions. And for the most part, I think I've done that. And I've been guiding people. I've been mentoring people and offering a subscription service to the method I developed for the past 4 years. And people like it. And I think that's going to add a lot to what we're going to offer people, because many people see me on guesting on shows and I sort of throw in my 2 cents worth, but I never get into the method or the thinking behind how I look at the market, which is not the same as the average trader or the average analyst. So even my friends like Tone and Willie and Ugly Old Goat and the people we know and talk with, my view is very different, although I never disagree with them in public, because what's the point, to suddenly jump into a conversation and say, this is not how I view the market. You kind of just agree. Well, it might go up, it could go up to 10,000. I remember saying that in February, and here we are at 10,000 today.
Yeah. Look, obviously I came across you first on Tone's show, where you're a pretty regular guest, and obviously I've had the pleasure of hanging out in Thailand with you a couple of times, which that's where I think we're going to launch our initial shows from. So I'm very much looking forward to getting back over there. We've got 2 weeks to come up with our thumbnails, our video entry, and a name. So
and a name. Yeah.
Any ideas?
We'll get it. We'll find something.
Yeah, we'll have to brainstorm that fairly quickly. I've got all the production crew ready to fly into action. So look, I mean, we'll keep this one fairly short and sweet today. It's maybe if you could share your thoughts around the price action we've seen over the last few months. I do remember you were pretty much the only guy calling that we would shoot up to around 13, which we have. And you made that call way back at, God, what price was that? That was around...
We were around 3,400 or something like that. We were way down in that trough, you know.
Why did you call that? Can you tell us what was your rationale? Because obviously that has happened.
The rationale at the time, I remember that it was full moon in Koh Phangan, the Thai island where you and me and Tony and Willie and a whole lot of people met at that incubator. And back in February of this year, 2019, you recall me and Tony and Willie did a epic show there. It was just a beautiful full moon night behind us, and
Yep.
each of us came with our angle on the market. And Willie was sort of doing his NDT analysis accumulation as evidenced in on-chain transactions, and Tone was using the TV sequential and Tone's sort of market insight, how markets move, compare it to the NASDAQ, what could happen. The general sentiment there was that there was still some downside left. I remember that Tyler Jenks, who wasn't there, ugly old goat, but specifically Tyler and Tone were calling for lower prices. Now, I recognized at the time that that was possible. You know, we could go lower. But the fact that back in February, starting January, February, when we met, price just couldn't make a low anymore. It was zigzagging above the lows. And from my experience in Elliott Wave principle, that to me looked like a correction instead of ongoing decline. And I made the call back there that if this correction plays through and we don't get a lower low, I think that we're going to go up, and that we're going to go up in what's called an Elliott B wave. A
Yep.
B wave is a phase of market denial when the market's like, oh well, there isn't a new low, so now we're going to go in the next bull market. And I was sensing that people were going into denial, that the market couldn't get a lower low, and that therefore it was going to react to the upside and do something crazy. And that's why I came up with a figure that it should go to about 10,000. Just now we'll look at a chart and I'll show you why I thought around about 10,000. I think I also mentioned 13,000.
Yeah, that was more recently. We were around 6K. I think you called it. You saw it going up to 13. So you've been bang on.
Yeah. And you know what, Sean? It's not because. Yeah, and it's not because I'm particularly good at tea leaf reading. I don't believe anybody is. I'm not a guy that believes in prediction, although it's the game that we analysts get drawn into.
Yep.
I made that sort of forecast just based on my sense of psychology in the market, that if the market cannot get a new low, then with its histrionic nature of this, all the altcoin markets, all of the cryptocurrency markets, there's a lot of emotion, there's a lot of desperation. And that's what made me think that the market will just sweep up uninterruptedly and just keep going. And that's what we saw. It was just an intuition. It wasn't really any technical reason. It wasn't really any particular genius on my part.
Okay.
You're kind of walking around. So you mentioned some other guys to me previously. You're saying that some guys are saying that there's some technical analysis that's calling for new lows. Some other guys are saying, I think you mentioned Richard Hart,
Yep.
is saying that price cannot be traded based on news or fundamentals at this point.
I think his rationale there. I think really what this is from. What are we today? It's what's the date today?
The 18th, Thursday the 18th.
Thursday the 18th. This show was, I believe, yesterday. It really his thoughts centered around the fact that this price move, and I think, you know, Tone also reiterated this to in a way as well today. that this is really such a strange move that we've seen here.
Yeah.
Richard Hart raised a very valid point that, if this was a major whale coming in here, why the hell didn't they utilize the futures markets and BitMEX to effectively double the money that they've made, if it is that one or two big player moving things around, and I agree that is strange.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm privy to some of the action that happens in the OTC space, and I've been hearing for a number of months that from people I know there that these are hedge funds, big institutions buying up in large amounts. So look, it's hard to know. There's also the conspiracy theory from certain people that maybe this has all got something to do with what happened with Tether. Maybe it's those guys buying up. I don't know. But it does seem rather odd that at a time where we were enduring what was pretty bad news with the Binance hack, with the Tether going through yet another bout of looking very precarious, that all of a sudden the markets took off without really a huge amount of retail investment coming into the space. So yeah, it's been strange.
It's been strange. You know what? I think people are going to get a lot of people will get a lot of benefit from the show. They'll get a lot of value because normally I operate privately. I only take subscribers, and I sort of gradually introduce and indoctrinate them into the method, because it takes a total reprogramming of your average trader to get them to trade profitably, because our natural condition, our natural inclination is to act in the market when we feel something. Our decisions are not so rational as much as they are emotional. And to get somebody to trade rationally is a reprogramming, because they've got to look at the market differently. As I always say, we want to trade like we gamble. You want to make your bet before somebody calls last bets, and then you watch the roulette ball spin and it lands somewhere, and you were right or you were wrong. But there's an argument to be made, and I've shown this many times to my subscribers, that the market doesn't have a last call. You can wait for the roulette ball to start bouncing in a certain sector, and then say, I'm going to make a bet sector where the probability is highest. And this is the way I teach people to look at the market, not to try and preempt what it's going to do, but to only act when it starts doing what technically it's predisposed to do. So there's some technical analysis, but then a lot of...
Oh, sorry, I think this is my internet. Let me just move.
probability distribution analysis. Oops, we're breaking a little bit. That's better.
Yeah, that was me. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Should be okay.
You can edit afterwards, right?
I think we should be fine now.
All right.
Okay. Sorry. Where were we?
I was just saying that the way that I analyze the market and trade the market involves a lot of technical analysis, but then also playing percentages, playing probabilities. And one doesn't have to guess what the probability will be. You've got to know what certain probabilities are with technical analysis, and then the one that unfolds, you play that probability with good money management, so that you don't get blown out the water if it goes against you, and if it wins, you win big.
Yeah.
And I said before, I'm into changing people's way of looking at the market. And if anybody wants and normally I do that privately, right? So in our show, I'm going to be more frank about how I look at the market, share that with people without giving away my method. If they want my method, they can come to me. I offer workshops. I have a website. They can get mentorship and training in this method that way. But I'm going to show them things that they don't see with other analysts. And If we've got time now, I can get into it a little bit.
Yeah, please do.
So I'm going to share my desktop. And all right, so this is from a book called The Elliott Wave Principle. And what it's about is an observed behavior of all markets since the 1940s. And some studies during the 70s and 80s confirmed that these patterns are also evident in markets going back in time. So in the 1800s, commodity prices prior to that. And what the proposal is in Elliott Wave Principle is that the market moves in 5 waves when it advances. And they labeled here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the top there. That is the characteristic of an advancing market, that there will be 5 waves of advance. And then when it corrects, it does so in 3 waves. Now, to distinguish advance from correction, the labeling changes. So a correction is labeled A, B, C, which is 3 waves, right? And advance is labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we, I'm not going to get into the specifics of the book, but if we scroll down, we can see that it becomes fractal. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the top there, and then an A, B, C correction. But you'll notice that each of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves have 5 subwaves, and the corrections are also ABC, and then 5 waves of advance, and ABC correction, 5 waves of advance. So when we look at any chart, whether it's Forex or stocks or commodities or Bitcoin, we see these same patterns. Okay, so in terms of this, let me bring up a. I will soon progress to an actual Bitcoin chart. I just wanted to point out that these 5 waves of advance and 3 waves of correction. This is the Elliott Wave Principle. There are many rules and guidelines inside of that, but we see it in all markets. And these waves are not determined by news, nor are they determined by fundamentals. In all the history of markets, there's never been a correlation between these wave patterns and actual fundamentals or actual news.
Yep.
So if somebody says that you can't reliably trade the news, they are correct. This was established in the 1940s by Ralph Elliott in the Elliott Wave Principle. And this is the way that I look at the market. These 5 waves of advance and the 3 waves of decline are not driven by external factors, but they're driven by an internal engine. And the internal engine is the collective market psychology. Right. Now, when you start looking at the market like that, if you start looking for the driver to be the collective behavior of everybody, you notice that optimism and when there is optimism and positive social mood, then people exhibit buying behavior. And when there is negative social mood and pessimism or even fear, people exhibit selling behavior. And this is how you get this engine driving price up. Obviously, after the first advance, there's some profit taking. It tends to go deep on this wave 2. And when wave 2 turns into advance, there is a lot of participation because people are like, woohoo, the bear market is over, it's a bull market. Mm-hmm. At some point higher in the chart, there is profit taking again. And then on the next advance, you find that there is a drop in volume and a lot of people buying price to the top. And then obviously right at the top, not because of any external factor, but because of an internal factor, because of psychology of the group, people start taking profit again and start selling. The fact that you don't get a higher high over here in this B wave, notice that it's labeled B, means that no matter how many people and hedge funds and corporations and whoever thought that this B wave was the start of another wave of advance, of continuation of the rally, at some point they realize, oh my God, it's not. And it sells off, and it sells off to a new decline low. That's what this ABC is about. Now, the B is important because if we go to the Bitcoin chart, and I'm gonna ask for a bit of time here because I quickly need to. I'm gonna leave it on that chart. Are you still seeing the wave pattern on the white page?
Yep.
Okay. So what I'm gonna do in the Bitstamp chart, I'm just gonna quickly take a picture of it to share. Just a second. I'm coming back with a price chart and I need to share that. So just give me a minute. I'm going to use the sharing facility here. If I can find it.
No problem. Take your time. I'm just going to wander back outside. Here we go.
Some sharing of. Right. Can you see the Bitcoin market for the past year?
Gotcha. Yep.
Okay. I'm going to slightly zoom it out so that we get. Oh, there's no price scale at the bottom, so it might as well be bigger. In this chart, we have price since last year. That should be about February last year, advancing through 1,000, up through 3,000, 7,000, up to where we are at the moment, which is the 10,000 to 15,000 range, where we are currently have spent the last month.
Yep.
You notice a pink line going up and under. That is a moving average. That is the 200 period moving average. And that line is critical. And this is a day chart, by the way. Each candle is 1 day. So we're looking at a 1 day chart with a 200-day moving average. In terms of the advance of Bitcoin, it kept above that 200-day moving average, which is quite a common metric. You find that most hedge funds use this. Most advanced traders are always going to have a 200 period moving average for reference. And it happens to be quite reliable because you'll notice that during the decline into 2018, that price went and met this 200 period moving average there, and perhaps reached for it over there and then dropped away below it, right? During the current rally, since January and February, we climbed back above the 200 period moving average and it moved higher. So there is technically, I'm pointing out technicals, technically it's possible that as Bitcoin, as any market keeps above its 200-day moving average during a rally, moves around its 200-day moving average during a correction, and then climbs back above its 200-day moving average during any kind of advance, there is now a chance that we come and retest this 200-day moving average. It happens to be at around 7,000. So this is technically a possibility, but I want to bring things back and deeper, back to that Elliott wave principle that we looked at, where we said that there were 5 waves of advance and then an ABC correction. So if we look at the price behavior since this 2017 top in December, you notice that it goes down, it goes sideways, and then it goes down again. That's only 3 waves, which is the characteristic of a correction, right? So this is an ABC that gives us an overall A wave. We're currently in a B wave. So if I put a label up here, I would put a B according to Elliott wave principle. And remember what we said about the B wave. People assume that it's the start of a new rally. And I think you can confirm for me, because this is what I've been hearing, almost everybody in the space is assuming that we're now going to 100,000.
Yeah, correct. That's really surprised me. You know, the bulk of the analysts were very much like myself at around 8K. I was telling people I think we're going down. That was really the consensus from most people. Even when it took off, a lot of the analysts that I follow we're still calling for this pullback. Now, yeah, there's a lot of them saying we're off to the moon.
Yeah. So it's only a matter of time. Everyone must buy. You might get an opportunity to buy lower, and then it's going to go to the moon, right? This is the general sentiment.
Yeah.
And I believe this is the same delusion that we saw where I'm hovering my cursor, where we didn't make new lows. And I said, guys, I think this is going to go up because the market cannot pull lower. It's trying, but there's a lot of buying, accumulation. And if it goes up, everyone's going to go insane. Everyone's going to go crazy. They're going to go full ladyboy histrionics. Oh my God, it's a new rally. And they're going to blast price up without a proper correction. And that's exactly what we saw. That's not because I'm a genius. That's because I read the book, Elliott Wave Principle.
Okay.
I said back then, we're going to go up in a B wave. And so far, in my estimation, this B wave might not be done. We might still have another stint higher to a double top. Yep. This is possible. It's also possible that we go down and test this 200-day moving average. If price were indeed to now go trade below that 200-day moving average, well, then we're on our way to a new low. Remember what we saw on that Elliott Wave Principle chart? That when it corrects in three waves, A, B, C. So I'm saying this is A, this is B, and then a C wave is going to draw the market to new lows in the course of the next 2 years. If this is indeed what's happening, we'll see a new low 2 years from now, above. That's one probability. That's one scenario. The other scenario is that we go to a double top. And imagine the amount of buying that will happen above 17, 18,000. I mean, it's just going to be incredible.
Yeah, I think it would move up very, very quickly from there.
Yeah, it's going to blast up parabolically if it does that. Yeah. And then the majority of this market, including hedge funds, are going to get wrecked. They are going to get absolutely wrecked, and they're going to cry. And that is going to be the sentiment. That's going to be the stab to the heart. That's going to drive price all the way back down below 3,000. I think that seems plausible, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't want that. We don't want that. But at the same time, as the market fools the majority most of the time, that's going to kick a lot of people in the balls. And it's going to give guys like you and me who are going to be cautious at those highs, and our listeners, it's going to give them the opportunity and us the opportunity to come buy at 2,000 down the line.
Look, I suppose.
So you win and you lose, right?
I guess a big part of the show that we're going to make will educate people on what Bitcoin is, what it offers society. But there's also just the most ridiculous opportunity for people to make a huge amount of money. And I don't think that there isn't another market like this. So really, really mastering a number of concepts is what we're going to try and assist with. It's going to be an absolute pleasure to work with you, Venzen. I'm really, really looking forward to it.
Me too. What I look forward to things that you're possibly lining up for us, whereby we can present some educational courses, during these shows.
Yeah.
Give people some real education as to how to use a platform like BitMEX, for instance, because right there, anybody has got access anonymously to one of the greatest trading platforms in the history of the world.
Yeah.
And if people can utilize it confidently and effectively, and we'll show them how, together with our advice and hopefully the advice of some other guests, analysts that we bring on board, they can learn how to utilize this thing to make money.
Yeah,
because you only need to do a few good trades in a year to really generate a lot of cash.
Well, exactly.
People just need to learn to not trade so much. Yeah.
Yeah, correct. I've my trading history. the self-taught trader in 2017. Good God, I wish I'd met you earlier.
Yeah. I know. I
was a year too late in meeting you.
Make no mistake. I've got a method, and I've got a it's a winning method. I've recorded every single trade for the last 4 years, and it year by year it wins. It gives people a 7.6 on average, 7.6 winners to whatever amount of losers.
Which is
2
absolutely
point something.
outstanding in this game. That's a huge win percentage. I mean, I love that about you. You actually post your trades. It's there for everyone to see. So congratulations. It's brave.
It's verifiable, it's reliable, it's consistent, it's consistently profitable. Even with that, I've made stupid trades. You know, like Ugly Old Goat posting, he said I blew my account. I've blown my account because I followed my emotion rather than what the method dictated. If I followed the method, I would not have, scraped my face on the floor.
Yeah. Well, look, I think we should be able to grow a nice audience. I think, there's real interest in Bitcoin and crypto, and I'd like to think we're going to offer a fairly unique show that'll cover many bases. The culture of crypto, which is kind of my area. We've got some super interesting guests. Dee from the Bitcoin family. We've got the top crypto artist joining us.
Great.
The first show. As I said, one of the close to getting one of the top guys from Blockstream, and also, I think really highlighting other projects that we're aware of and like is going to be crucial as well. I mean, obviously, trading Bitcoin is going to be certainly an aspect, but also I think it's important to try and find those hidden gems out there for people as well. I mean, it's been fascinating that this price action has really been driven by Bitcoin, isn't it? That's we've that to me maybe suggests that this could be some large institutions buying up Bitcoin and not really being so interested in other digital assets. We're going to delve into that and see what we can find out.
That'll be interesting. I'm also interested in some of the other projects on there. Look, most of them are scams, potentially outright fraud. But we need to explore those.
Correct.
I've got clients that have sort of pointed out to me, because I was always like, guys, we don't worry about any other altcoin, any other market. We're focused on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the king. And I had some clients come to me in private and say, listen, man, I've made a lot of money on Ethereum, or I've made a lot of money with Tron. And looking at those charts together with a client, I was like, my God, man, this thing has got very clear signals. You can trade.
I remember you telling me that you often trade the Ethereum.
I trade the Ethereum instrument because it's profitable in the upward direction more than Bitcoin. But Bitcoin dictates the moves.
Correct.
Ethereum doesn't do something that Bitcoin doesn't dictate. So yes,
I guess we should clarify for people as well. We're not when we talk in those terms. We're really talking about how to maximize profits from trading. Not that we would endorse Ethereum over Bitcoin as where you want to be playing. Yeah.
I think so. That's a good point. Well made. Yeah.
What do you just sort of maybe to tie it up for today? What I've obviously been having a look at. There seems to be a flood of traders coming onto YouTube at the moment, which I think is something that people should be wary of. Do your homework as to who you're following. What are your thoughts around shorting? I personally think that's incredibly dangerous to be shorting any crypto. I think the potential to really maximize profits if you are playing the long and short game. Shorting something is a little foolhardy, in my opinion. What are your thoughts around that? Just in terms of
I'm shorting. You're asking me, and you're asking in a way that I almost feel like I should just agree with you. Like, oh yeah, it's bad. It's dangerous, because it is. But I'm a great lover of shorting the market, because when Bitcoin goes down, or most markets, when they go down, it's like the bottom comes out. The bottom comes out, and it just for free
I guess I probably should clarify what I was talking about there. I guess using leverage is a little dangerous.
Oh yeah, very good point.
Yeah,
and I love to talk about leverage, because have you used leverage when you trade?
Sorry, I got to run inside. You know how it works in Asia. We got the mosquito man coming.
Yeah, you're gonna be choking up soon, man. You're gonna run. Run, Sean, run. Yeah.
Knows where you are.
Yeah. You hear him coming. You hear that electric motor pumping the DDT, right?
I'd rather get
and
than breathe.
Yeah, you're just gonna get out of there, or you're gonna choke up. Where are you now? You went in your room?
I've dashed inside and pulled the doors closed. Yeah. Ugh.
Okay. I was asking you if you've ever used leverage when you traded.
No, I didn't.
Okay, you'll notice just a cursory glance at social media and especially the troll box, say in BitMEX, that most people use leverage, but they swing between extreme leverage and no leverage. On the one hand, they say, I've entered this trade with minimum leverage. They might be talking about 2 times leverage or 5 times leverage, thinking that that's low leverage. And then you hear other people say, I'm so confident about this move, guys, it's going to go up. I'm using maximum leverage, my full account, and both of those extremes are wrong, because if you use too low leverage, you're not getting the profit. And if you use too much leverage, you risk losing everything that you put in the trade. But there is a mathematically sound, a scientific way of calculating the appropriate leverage for each particular trade. But it depends on that.
Would that be if you're 100% sure you put 100% in?
I wish it worked like that with women, You're like, I'm 100% sure that this one is a good one, and you're like 100% in and you're correct. Leverage, you gotta, it changes. Sometimes you're 100% sure about the move, but the conditions don't justify using 100% leverage. You might only be able to use 50% leverage. And I'll show people that in the course of the show. It's part of money management. You've got to know how much risk you can take, and then you've got to adjust your leverage to match that risk. And it's quite precise. There's no guesswork involved. Yeah. And we'll get into that. Oh. So as for shorting, I love it. Shorting with leverage, the appropriate leverage, is highly profitable. Yep. Not many people do the calculation whereby they work out for $100 move, let's say with the same leverage, $100 move to the downside, what are the profits? And $100 move to the upside with the same leverage, what is the profit? The downside is 60 to 70% more profitable than the upside move. And that's why shorting is so attractive. Okay. And if you do it correctly, if you do it methodically, you make a lot of money when the market goes down.
Well, I think what people will find interesting is I'm somewhat of a trading novice. So often the best way to learn is to ask silly questions. And in the course of some of our content, I'll be asking you lots of silly questions.
Go for it. Yeah. I even find myself asking silly questions because sometimes you need to ask the obvious, both as a mirror, as a reflection, and as a means of establishing that you're actually thinking clearly, because trading is a complicated game.
Yeah. Well, look, Venzen, let's chat again in the next few days. Obviously, we'll talk offline now, and we need to come up with a name for our show and get the thumbnails and the stinger all done, which I'm on. I'm super excited about it. We've both been around in this game for a while now, and we both know crypto is not going away. There's huge opportunities for people to make some life-changing money done correctly. But also, it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun educating people on the space, the big characters we know plenty of them. And all coming to you from some pretty exotic locations around Asia.
Yeah. I look forward to it. It's going to be fun just talking and getting through all those guests, all the people we know that we want to bring on the show, and sharing information and upgrading the traders out there. If they want to listen, we'll talk to them.
Yeah, true. Excellent, my friend. And thank you very much for flashing up your BitMEX trading account, which now means I have to go and edit this instead of just posting the... I will get that done. People won't actually know it was in there, but I'll leave this in. But
yeah, please.
All right, my friend. What have you got planned for the rest of the day?
I'm going to go to gym in about an hour, and today's push day. So I've already had my protein and calories for the day, so I'm just going to go hit it hard, burn out. I'm just on a workout routine for the next 3 months. I just want to put on some bulk for my red pill, and
we'll
keep the ladies
about
happy.
that next time. Yeah, excellent. Yeah,
it'd be nice to have a show about that. It'll be nice to have a show about red pill philosophy, because it comes into market, into trading as well. If you have an abundance mindset in the market, it stops you from taking too many trades, because basically FOMO is a scarcity mindset. You're like, oh my God, if I don't get in some point, I'm going to miss out. And that is exactly what the red pill, the manosphere is kind of talking about, as a scarcity mindset.
Oh, look, Venzen,
a lot of the red pill stuff translates into Bitcoin. I'd love to talk about that.
Yeah, let's do that. I mean, obviously you and I have spent many hours sitting in exotic locations discussing this type of thing, and that really fascinated me. So much of making good decisions in life is about having the right mindset, whether it's trading or anything really. And you've got a hell of a lot of wisdom to impart there. I know that for a fact. So yes, absolutely. We're really looking forward to sharing a lot of your insights with the audience as we go. So listen, my friend, go and rip into the gym, and I'll get some paperwork over to you to get everything squared away and what we'll be doing with the show. And we'll
thank you
in the next day or two.
That's great. Can I ask you tentatively, what kind of dates are we looking at going to Koh Phangan? I'm preferring August at this time, and preferably like after the 8th.
After the 8th, yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Well, let's do this. Let's put a little bit of material like this out up until then, so people know what's coming. The fully fledged show. But yeah, I think let's pick a date in that second week of August, and I'll meet you in Thailand, and we'll pick it off properly from there with the full enchilada.
Yeah. I've got Lex regularly contacting me saying, "Come on over, we're missing you."
I missed a call from him today.
We've got a space for you. So I'm gonna engage him and say, Lex, what's it looking like around the 8th?
Okay.
So just to start activating him on that side as well.
That works for me. I mean, maybe. Yeah. I mean, well, we might as well wrap this up now. This is more of a chat for the two of us on logistics. No, absolutely, that's doable. But I think, I think it's good if we just record our conversations. We'll stick them out there. Start letting people know what's coming.
Good.
And we'll do the fully fledged shows from then. Yeah.
I think I don't know if Phangan is convenient for you. For me, it's pretty same as anywhere. Yeah.
I think no doubt these shows will be brought to people from lots of exotic locations. What better place to start than here?
Yeah, great. Okay.
Excellent.
Have a nice day. I'll read the paperwork feedback, and you speak when again? On the weekend?
Over the weekend, Sunday. I think. Sunday would be good. All right, brother.
Okay, Sunday. I'm doing a fun run in the morning. In the afternoon, I'm flying to Bangkok. I'll be there Sunday evening. Otherwise, we got to do Monday.
We'll figure it out. I'll drop you.
Okay.
I'll drop you a note. All right. for whoever did end up watching this, I hope you enjoyed. I think the takeaway is we'll be launching the fully fledged show second week of August, but obviously subscribe to the channels now so that you don't miss out on these sort of random ad hoc chats that we'll be throwing up. There's plenty happening in the space at the moment, so yeah, I think we'll probably look to do a few of these, in the build-up, especially when we get some crazy market moves, maybe, which seems to be happening on the daily at the moment. And are you popping up on Tone's show or any other shows that people could see you on in the interim?
People might see me on Tone's show. I'm kind of busy over the next 2 weeks until we physically meet. So I'm not on many shows. I'm in a kind of a hiatus at the moment. I'm just holding back, focusing on our show and what I need to do going forward. Yeah.
Yep. Cool.
So I'm not aware of any guest spots for the next 3 weeks.
Cool. Yeah, well, we've got a lot to do, and no doubt we'll put a few of these out in the interim. So yeah, good talking with you, brother.
Goodbye, Sean.
Okay.
Ben.
Catch you
See you
later.
soon.
See you, mate.
Bye for now.
See ya.